Hey, hello. Just wrapping up. First week we had Mythic Zeros out, but I think I am pretty comfortable with my UI, so I'm going to do a little bit of talk about what I got set up, and then we'll do a small delve. I'm on my little mage here since I maxed out the big mage already. And it's going to be a boring delve because apparently we're locked to tier 3s until you hit 90. That's okay. But let's take a look. So we're trying to avoid, of course, all the problems we're seeing crop up with add-ons and everything. So we use as much of Blizzard's own code as we can. So I'm using their edit mode to give me my action bars and stuff. So down here we got the main action bars. As I said, I use a Razer Naga with the 12 buttons on the side. So I've got first action bar here with most of my spells, and the second action bar for some of the secondary spells. That way I can hit shift and get the second bar. And then on this side, I bind a lot of stuff to my mouse wheel up and down, and then the middle mouse, so that goes on there. And then here is surrounding the WASD keys, and that's all right there. So there's the action bar setup. That's the basics. Now, what I have tried to do is I like to have kind of a HUD around the center of the screen so that I get all the information I need in combat without actually looking down here at action bars or trying to look up here for debuffs. So we always move the party frames a little bit closer. Even as DPS, you don't always need to do that, except, for instance, mages can decurse, right? So we can actually decurse our party and ourselves. One thing that I did was move the Blizzard's debuff frame off of the top here, which is absolutely useless, right? And I put it right here near the center of the screen so that I can see, hey, I've got a debuff. I can decurse it, right? And it'll appear right there. I'm also using my text HUD add-on. As you can see, there's a percentage here that's showing my health, and then if I target something, that'll show my target health. Another thing that I created an add-on for was to move the target buffs and debuffs up here too, and these are give you the tooltip, so that's good. But they're also pass-through, which means if you got your mouse on top of it, doesn't capture the mouse click, so you can still turn your camera or click on things. And I did the same thing actually with the debuff frame, the target or the player debuffs. When they're moved over here, I got two add-ons actually. They're doing those different things, but that way we'll keep the mouse, your mouse from catching on those when you're trying to turn and click on things. I've taken a quick peek at the cooldown manager again. So cooldown manager can house a lot of stuff, but it's not very controllable about how things build or where things are placed, which is unfortunate. But I am using my tracked buffs here, and I don't keep more than 3 or 4 usually. And then utility cooldowns, I keep 3 up here and 3 over here. And let's take a look at what I'm doing. So because I'm using my text HUD add-on, which not only gives me my health and target health, then it puts the target name up here and then the target of target name. And I've also got the target cast bar. I can move that out of my text HUD add-on too and put that right in that space there. And I'll show you here. No, see, that makes it pretty easy to see what your target is, who they're targeting, and if they're casting something so you can interrupt it. And then I use my utility cooldown bar to show my interrupt cooldown there. And then we can also track things like glacial spike. Every time we get build up 5 icicles, that's ready to go, so I can see that right there. I can also track on my frost mage here my frozen orb when that's back up, and then my ray of frost, and then when I've got instant cast blizzard ready. So those are pretty basic to frost current rotation, so we got all that right up there. And we got of course our track buffs over here. We need to track freezing stacks nowadays, and then thermal void, of course, brain freeze. And then we can also track how many icicles we're storing up, which is kind of what this does. So this is actually a frost bolt spell cooldown on here. And it does become glacial spike once you hit 5 icicles, but it does not indicate your icicle stat count there, which is why I show it here too. As you can see, here's the player debuffs right here. And as I said, those are pass through, so you can still turn if you happen to be clicked on top of that, holding down your mouse and you want to turn. And then one last thing that I do, because there are additional spells that we need, and I don't want to just try to jam them all into these two areas. But what actually works really good for displaying some spells you want to see, just use your extra action bars, right? So I use the 4 down here and the 2 over here. But we got 2 left over, so I've got action bar 6 and action bar 8. And they're pretty small. I just set them to show 6 icons each, but I can put them up here and then throw whatever additional spells I want, and it all becomes part of my HUD there. So let's take a look at how that works. They're both always visible. Okay. You can see here I've got my remove curse right here, and of course my debuff pops up. I know, hey, I can decurse myself and it's off cooldown. And I've got a couple spells. I don't know if I'm going to keep these up here, but for example, I can show, hey, there's my cooldown on my ice block and my mirror image and invis, and then there's my AoE stun. So I got all the information that I want to have if I'm out here and about in the world. I shot my target of target, my health and target's health. I got target buffs showing, which will actually show too if there's something to spell steal, right? And let's take a more peek here at how I set up a lot of this to be easier for myself. So we got a couple add-ons, and I got a link to my author page on CurseForge. I'll put it in the description, but we've got target buff mover, which lets you move those target buffs off of the target frame to wherever you want, and it actually does it in 2 different groups. The buffs and debuffs are separate, so you can move those groups wherever you want. We also have our text HUD, which, and if you ever go to any of your add-ons and the first option page is blank, just go to a different tab and come back. Appears to be a Blizzard bug. But anyway, we have options to modify all these text frames that I've got showing. Nice thing about text HUD, also lets you move the Blizzard target cast bar. That's just how I put it up here above my head. And then you can also do some modifications on the target name. Now also on those debuffs that we move, I have a small add-on called Debuff No Clicky, which allows you to have those player debuffs when you move them. That keeps it from capturing your mouse clicks, but it still gives you the tooltips. And you have an actual add-on with options here for our bars. So see, I've got my bar 6 and I got my bar 8 there, right? Both of those are set to be click-through, so same thing. They're displaying, but they're not capturing mouse clicks. And these particular ones don't throw tooltips either, because the idea, I think, is you want to know your cooldowns of whatever you drop on there, right? But I don't think you need tooltips to tell you what spells they are. You know what spells they are. Right? And you've got your spells down here. Like I said, you can look down here too, but sometimes it's nicer if you're right in combat. Everything's around the center here. All right. I think the last thing maybe to point out is we move the cast bar kind of high. We're also using the personal resource display here. We hide the health bars. We don't need that stuff, but for any of the tunes like my Death Knight that's got the runes, or the monk's got the chi orbs, it will display those right here, which is kind of fills out the HUD right there, so you have all your information, your percentage health. It'll show, text HUD will show your rage or energy or whatever it is that you need to know right there. So you got all the information right here, and you don't have to try to push these player frames and target frames way up here, or even if you get a unit frame add-on, right, that makes it a little smaller. It's still more information than you need, because all you really need is the text HUD. At least for me, that's how I work. Oh, looks like edit mode is also showing the target debuff. So this is how I did it, and you could do it however you want. And if you don't use text HUD, you can use something else too. But I got the target buffs here, and then I got the target debuffs here. And target buffs is kind of neat because I set it up so it moves. You can choose how many buffs it moves. So currently I have it pulling up 6 buffs, for instance, and they'll wrap after 3, so you can set the wrap point too. But I have noticed if a target has buffs that you can spell steal, generally Blizzard will put those first in order. So if you only move like a limited, say I only moved 3 icons up there, I'll almost guarantee the spell steal is going to be in that group. And then what my add-on does is it leaves the rest of the target buffs here on the target. So for some reason a target has a lot of buffs, like maybe PvP, but only some of them you can spell steal, it'll show like that. So, all right, let's go find a delve. So that is my HUD, and I'm pretty comfortable with it. And it's, actually one more thing. That's normally I've got these set to just show in combat, so let's set those up like that. And normally I keep my player health percentage to only show in combat too, but we'll leave it up there. I do see one more thing I'm going to talk about real quick, which was pretty handy. Wrote a little add-on for. So stat count. If you played with a cooldown manager or any of the Blizzard bars, you realize that stat count is often buried on the icon behind a cooldown timer, right? It doesn't matter here on Icicles because Icicles doesn't have a cooldown, but it would matter on, say, my freezing stacks right here. So if you've got a cooldown timer running on top of here plus the overlay, and then your stat count is a tiny little number in the corner, and you can probably already see, like here's my flurry, the stack size is down below and it's a bigger number. So I do have a add-on that I wrote there called Stack Size Matters, which actually allows you to take the stack size on all three of your cooldown manager bars and move them above or below or however suits your UI. Or not have stack modification for the block if you don't want. But you can change the size of the font so you can read it better and move it off of that icon, and it's worked out really good for me. And we'll see all this in action in this little delve. But and most of my add-ons now are getting a profile load, so you can set up your stack count, wherever you want, your stacks wherever you want, and then save your profile and load it up on another character, which is pretty handy if you got multiple tunes. Okay, well that's enough of talking about UI for now. We'll go see how all this works together. Like I said, unfortunately they blocked us at 3, which is pretty boring. Traps, okay. Oh, hey, wait a second. Am I doing the wrong one? Want to do that one. Hold on, we'll go do that one. Only because I noticed I hadn't done the scenario up there in Atul Laman yet, so, but it's close. One other add-on, and the author is not mine. The author has kept it updated for a long time now. It's called Farm HUD. So you see the mini map here. That's one thing if you're looking for herbs and stuff, look up at the mini map. But he wrote something called Farm HUD, which actually puts an overlay of your mini map. You can see the mini map's blank now, right? Because he's moved all the information here, so you can actually see herbs and everything that you're flying over. It is the best if you're a gatherer of any kind. And it's just a simple button to toggle that on and off. But that works in dungeons too, to find your party if you're trying to catch up to them for some reason, or same with raids. Okay, let's go check out this scenario. None of the scenarios in the delves have been too hard. Though some are harder than others for sure. And as I've been doing tier 7s on my level 90 mage, I've noticed things are a little tougher. Okay, let's see what I got Valera set up for. I'm unsure what the best curios are going to be, but I've been using Porcelain Blade Tip. Did just get a nerf, so I'm not quite sure that's the best anymore. Well, you know what? May as well try different ones. Let's try the hand grenade, because I haven't tried that. And let's go with 5% movement speed and slows your... That's stupid. Okay. Standing still during combat gains stacks of momentum, and jumping. Yeah. I ain't gonna do that either. Mandate of circ... So opening a treasure summons a subjugated burden. You know where this one would be good is in a grudge pit, because that's one room, and I notice all the little treasure curiosities are easy to find. Okay, we'll try the holy bouncing hand grenade, which says it might be able to stun and does a little bit of damage. Okay, we'll see what that does.
Join me, my child.
So I need to get rid of cursed totems and steal a vile branch eagle. Okay. I'm sure it won't be too hard. Got a drum here, which I don't know what it does, but I hit it. As a for instance with that text HUD, then see if I pull that up, I can see where I need to go. Or of course you could look at your mini map too, but it's kind of nice to have that overlay.
You're now strike.
I get on top of the eagle. Oh, to attack from a different direction. Okay.
Bounty from nature.
Alright, so let's pull up a little group of mobs here. Those guys, and this guy, and this guy.
I'll staunch the bleeding.
That's good enough. Let's drop a little blizzard here. You can see I saw the cast right above the head. It's easy to interrupt. And you can see my whole HUD cranking up there, right?
Gather yourself.
Still leaves my feet pretty clear so I can see what's underneath me. But at the same time, I have all the information on my spells and cooldowns right there. Alright. Not sure I noticed that hand grenade hitting stuff. I'll watch a little closer on this next pack. The rogue has not been too bad so far, at least his heals. I did go in on my Resto Shaman and used her as a tank, and not sure that went so well, though they did change Shaman healing. Maybe I just don't know what I'm doing. That mob was a little thicker. You can see all my stuff lighting up. Like I said, all your major rotational spells are going to be right there on my HUD. Let's see, where do I want to go now? Oh. Let's light these guys up.
I'll take that.
So you can see my freezing stacks, and it puts the stack count up there, so it's a lot easier to see than default. And of course, I've set this up as suits me and what I've been used to, because I had Weak or is set up to do pretty much the same things that we're seeing here. But all of my add-ons, pretty much you can move any of the elements like wherever you want with X and Y sliders. So if you have a different kind of UI setup, but you'd like to use some of the functionality out of my add-ons, you can. I have done Spellslinger Frost. That's what I play Mythic Zeros with. I think leveling is Frostfire is actually a little better. It's not quite as much damage, but as a Spellslinger, I think it's actually quite a bit behind. But it doesn't matter so much for solo content. And what solo content does have is you want a lot of upfront damage, right?
I do not have a
Because you don't have anybody tanking for you, right? And Frostfire, I think, is actually a little better at that. So, okay, those guys are clear. Looks like I got my checkpoint up there. Let's go up there. Oh, I miss let's go get another cursed totem here. I tell you that this farm hut is probably one of the coolest add-ons. I really like that a lot.
Your pain, my pleasure.
Questing and gathering
Gather yourself.
is just really handy.
I require a target.
I guess another option would be take your actual mini map and move it down here, which I've seen people do too, but for the most part, other than action bars, I try to keep the screen somewhat clear around the center, so. What I say, like Bran, Valyria tends to pull mobs that are in the surrounding area, which is not a big deal. It's just... Okay, I only need one more cursed totem and maybe one more mob. I said these are really easy. Let's do a little bigger mob here so you can kind of see that UI again.
Your life is mine.
See, I'm watching my stat counts. Here we go. Like I said, I've been doing, we did our full round of Mythic Zeros this week. And I did that all as Spellslinger. But Frostfire has been pretty good for leveling up this second mage. And here, I'll put up my spec for a second, so if you want, you can pause it and take a look. But there's nothing too interesting here. It's pretty much what Wowhead's doing. Though I do make some minor alterations to the utility side. I am still using
I do not have a target.
Blizzard's nameplates, which
Stop the bleeding.
I really like that much.
Now strike.
Threat plates is what I used in the War Within. And it's mostly just to have a little cleaner look on those plates. And of course we had colors for different mobs. Alright, I think this is the last boss, so let's go ahead and fix them up here.
Your pain, mine.
Pop
Stay
in that
here
Ray
and
of
recover.
Frost, and Frostfire gets a Comet Storm at the end, plus a Meteor, which is really nice. Oh. I think I have done this boss before, so... I'm supposed to go run over the spirits, and that's why they have the arrow button. I said tier 3s are way too easy, but it did give me a little chunk of XP, right? So if you're still leveling up, questing, I think running the campaign quest is the way to go. You get good XP for that. And delves and follower dungeons are actually pretty good, so just running the campaign quest will send you to delves and dungeons too. You can do follower dungeons or do groups with your friends if you want, or pug them, but not really a big point to go do normals too much with pugs, because unless you need the gear, I guess. Haven't really seen anything cool coming out of tier 3 delves. I was kind of hoping it would still be giving me curios, but pretty sure I need to go get back up to tier 7, so yeah. Most of my tunes came out of the War Within at least 160. Like I think this tune is 168. Yeah, most of them are up there like that, so none of the gear until closer to the 88 or 89 is going to be worth anything. That's okay, though. Anyway, yes, so that's, I wanted to do a little video about what I've done with my UI, and like I said, I'm pretty happy with what I've got now. It's all set up, and it does work across multiple different characters, right, using the basic setup where a player and target frame. They're not real useful to me, but I keep them up here. They're off to the side, they're out of the way, and then I use my text HUD to put that kind of health information and target information all right there. And then we got target buffs and debuffs now is moved up here, and then player debuffs is moved here. And with a couple add-ons I wrote, they're also click through, so you can still turn. It doesn't capture your clicks. And then the last couple of things I'd like to see on my bars, I've got them right here. And then we're using Blizzard's cooldown manager, so the point was to keep everything as close to what Blizzard's providing us as possible, and if some things we need to tweak, like moving the stack size, that we can do on Blizzard frames without running into too many add-on issues. But you know, I've got a couple of add-ons here where they are trying to do a little more. Like I am using cooldown manager centered, and it's been working okay, and it can move the stack sizes and stuff too, though I choose not to use that. The only thing I'm using this is to grow my tracked buff icons from one side or the other, because Blizzard stuff doesn't do that. But you know, all the add-on authors, and as I've been writing add-ons myself, we're struggling to find ways to work around what Blizzard's done, right? And Blizzard has told us you can do some things, and then you go try to do it and you can't. Like simple things like take the player debuffs and make them into bars, right? So, and make your own group of bars. That's actually fairly hard to do, and there are a couple of add-ons out there that are doing that, but then they keep breaking or having errors or taint issues. So but what I've tried to do with the add-ons and tweaks I've been doing is to not get those errors, not try to do too much, just work with what Blizzard gave us, and then modify it slightly and make sure we're doing it in such a way that we're not causing those add-on errors or taint issues as possible. So, and so far, all my add-on suite seems to be working okay at that. Anyway, thanks for coming along. I'll hopefully be doing some more Mythic Zeros this next week. We got a reset tomorrow, so we'll see how that goes. I think I'm supposed to be. My little group is telling me to go make another 90 so we can run a second group. Looks like it's probably going to be the monk. I sure hate I don't mind. It's always fun leveling the first one, then you get to 90 and it's not so much fun trying to level a second one. Feels like a slog because you've seen all that stuff already. But anyway, thanks for coming along. I'll catch you guys on the next one.